Welcome back, everyone. We are in for a treat this afternoon when we go through Minecraft education. For those of you that have not been on our sessions earlier today, my name is Whitney, and I serve with HEAV, the state homeschooling organization in Virginia, and I'm your MC today. Again, a couple of housekeeping items. Please make sure you put your questions in the Q&A tab, so that way we can make sure we get them over to Nathan this afternoon. There will be a 2-minute warning at the end of this presentation, and it will promptly cut us off on the call. So don't think that we're being rude and cutting you off. It's just part of the system, but don't worry. If that happens and you still have questions, we will make sure to get them over to Nathan. So you can either email Michael or Nathan to get those answered for you. I will make sure to get all the questions over to Nathan at the end. We're going to try to hold those so that way he can get through all the presentation, and we'll likely answer a lot of those questions that you might have throughout as we continue this. So without further ado, we now have Nathan Wells, who is the Director of Strategy and Innovation at I2E EDU, where he helps schools and ed tech companies integrate emerging technologies like AI into teaching. With 20 plus years in professional learning, he designs scalable programs and coaches educators to promote digital fluency. Nathan is a former educator and tech coordinator from Phoenix. As a national speaker and advocate of game-based learning, he promotes the adoption of future-ready education. So without further ado, thank you for joining us, Nathan.
Awesome. Thanks so much. It's great to be with you all, and thanks to Michael for inviting me and letting me be a part of this. I appreciate an opportunity to talk to you as a parent myself, and being able to help my own kids fall in love with the opportunity to use games to learn, and then also bringing it to the schools that I worked in Arizona. I now live outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, and have been able to have the privilege of working with schools all over mostly the US and bringing game-based learning mostly through Minecraft education. And so I hope to clear up some questions for you and be able to kind of help you understand the possibilities and the differences between maybe what your kiddos are already playing at home, maybe on Xbox or on a tablet or however they're doing it, and then also see what we can do together and look at the possibilities of how you can use this in a curriculum-focused learning environment. So that's kind of where we're going. And we're going to look at these different pieces. So just for the sake of time, I'm going to kind of run through some of this. Main thing, just to set ourselves straight. So I don't know how you set up with your kiddos, and especially depending on the age range. But when I taught social studies, I always started with definitions, right? So what is game-based learning? When I use that term, I'm talking about using a game, whether it is something like Minecraft or a simulation, some type of interaction or type of thing, to get students in what we're learning. So they're actually involved. They're a part of whatever it is that we're learning about. And as a social studies teacher, one of my favorite things was to get them in. I would change the lighting in the classroom. I would try to get music. Not always worked, but I would try to. And we would change the mood and the setting, and we would try to get them involved in what we were doing. We would simulate that learning experience, and we've never been able to do it like we can in something like Minecraft. Now, there's other places you can do that as well nowadays. I've been out of the classroom for a few years now, and love all the opportunities of other things, but Minecraft, I believe, has a unique way of doing that. Game-based learning in general has a lot of benefits. And one of the things that, if you have some kiddos at home that already love Minecraft, then you know some of this is true. The creativity, the engagement, the attention to detail is real, right? Like they are absolutely problem solving and really getting into the details of whatever it is they're doing in their world. We had some nieces over to our house this morning with my 3 kiddos, and the younger 2 were playing with their 2 nieces, and they were in a Minecraft world together and were telling me all about it, right? They could tell me every detail of what they were building, why they were doing it, and everything that went into it. And they happened to be playing one of the Minecraft worlds we helped build. And so it did have an education twist to it, luckily, for what we were doing. But it's incredible, that engagement, when it has a narrative to it, when it has a purpose and when they feel like they're a part of something that's real. It's pretty cool. So we're going to get into some of that. So I've said some of this already: engagement, creativity, the collaboration. I love when you get kiddos working together. So I know some of you just have maybe one kiddo at home, or you have different age groups at home, so they may not be working on the same lesson at the same time. Some of you may be in a co-op, right? I have some folks in my church community here that work together in a co-op, and so they have some kids that maybe get to collaborate in a Minecraft world. And that when you get them working together in a collaborative world, it is amazing how kids will just all of a sudden be using that academic vocabulary, and they don't even quite realize that they're doing it, right? It's not that it's like forced. It just comes out because it's a part of the learning process, and it's a part of what they're doing in the game. And so it just naturally becomes a part of that authentic learning experience. And the other thing we're not going to spend time on in this like quick time together, there's a lot of personalized learning opportunities. You can change language. You can have what's called immersive reader is built into the game, where it can read aloud to the students. So if you have a kiddo who's a younger learner or a struggling learner when it comes to reading text, there's immersive readers built in where it will read the words to them. There's a picture dictionary or a line reader, so you can focus on one line of text at a time. So it kind of takes away the distractions of the game for a moment, so they can focus just on the in-game text, and then they can get out of that and then continue their build or whatever it is. So we get more into that in training, but I just want to mention that if that is something that can be helpful for your kiddos. We know engagement is a huge benefit of learning. When we have kiddos that are interested in a subject, in a learning opportunity, they're more motivated, they're more willing, and they're more apt to be a part of that learning experience. That natural curiosity all of a sudden brings them into that moment, and they're able to take off with it. And so Minecraft helps us tap into that in a lot of different ways, whether it's we're learning about language while we're also building a village or exploring the International Space Center, which is that little clip in the picture there on the slide, or something else, right? We're exploring C.S. Lewis's stories within the game, or we're also reading the book out loud at home, right? We can bring in this love of learning in an interesting way that a student maybe couldn't do otherwise. There's some amazing interactions and cross-curricular opportunities we can do. The creativity part is something that I struggled with as a learner, where I didn't realize how much creativity I actually really enjoyed. I was a very traditional learner. I would follow the directions. I was also a firstborn. Maybe you can, diagnose some things about me right away. But I followed the rules. I wanted to be, on the good list. I didn't want to break anything and whatever, right? But I actually realized as I got older that when I had opportunities to be creative, and especially creative in how I showed my learning, I was actually a lot more able to express myself. And this world is actually one I helped develop. Now, I did not do the hand. I did not actually develop that. I actually helped write some of the lessons. This is actually a math world, which you wouldn't know it from seeing it. That's actually the hand of a zombie. It's a zombie apocalypse, and it's a math world, and you're solving and you're going through these math riddles and puzzles to break through and find the cure for the zombie apocalypse. Now, there's no blood, there's no violence whatsoever. That's just the premise of the narrative, because students love stories, and stories need narratives to be engaging. So anyways, there's all these things we can talk about with that, and it helps students really dive in and feel like they're a part of something, which is exciting. Collaboration, I mentioned this a little bit. There's some default worlds, like the screenshot on this one is one of the more basic ones that's built into the game. The one I had, the hand in the last one, is not built into the game. That's an extra download that I can give you. It's freely available. It's just not built into the game. But this one is one that a lot of people use. And what's nice about this one is it has numbered plots. So if you had a group of 5, 10, however many kids, you could say, hey, you're going to go build on plot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I want you to pair up with this person, you pair up with this person, and you're now going to also build on plots 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And you're going to add on and combine and take what you learned and do it together. So it's nice because it kind of has that guided practice areas that they can be able to work on. And there's some other worlds that are built into the game that give you those areas that you can work together. So they're structured, but they have some free play a little bit in the sense that they can move around where they need to based on your instructions. Authentic learning, there's a lot you can do in the game. There's certain areas that you can go, and certain places I'll point out that you can give them kind of free reign, like, hey, go build a historical structure based on what we just learned. Show me how this scientific model would look if you were to build it in Minecraft. Right? So there's different ways that we can help them and allow them to show us their learning in a very open world environment or in a very structured way. Now, I want to pause here for a second. One of the biggest questions I usually get is, okay, my kid plays Minecraft already. I don't want spiders. I don't want skeletons and the end game dragon, and right. I don't need realms and all this stuff. I don't need them talking to people across the world. And so we want to just kind of zero in for a second. And all those things I just said can be true about the what we call consumer edition or bedrock edition of Minecraft. But the things that are very unique about the Minecraft Education Edition is that it is very much only available and licensed to schools, camps, and what we call after-school clubs. And then once it is licensed to that school, camp, or after-school club, it is tied to the login. That is very different to the other one. And when it's tied to that login, it is actually has to be securely logged in with a Microsoft 365 account, and can only work with others in that Microsoft 365 account group or what we call a tenant. So it can do multiplayer, but it has to only be with other people that are in that same tenant. We can get into those details later if you have questions. When we look at the Bedrock, the consumer edition, you can play on it with lots of things. You can buy with physical money, right? Credit card, usually, what are called mine coins, and you can purchase skins, which is like the clothes they're wearing, and worlds and all kinds of stuff. None of that is in the Education Edition. The Education Edition, you all have access to through your Microsoft 365, through your homeschool association you're a part of, and nothing else costs money. Nothing. Everything a part of that is free. Okay, so all of that is included. And some of the unique things with Minecraft Education is like the immersive reader and coding, the code builder, and some of the assessment tools. So let's look at some of that really quickly. So when we go to the website, which is just education.minecraft.com or .net, I always do that. And I don't know if this will show up in the chat or not. No, it didn't come through. I'll make sure that you get it later. Can I do it as plain text? There we go. Maybe that'll come through for everybody. So education.minecraft.net, if you've never been to that website, has hundreds of lesson plans, lots of curriculum that you can explore. If you've never gone through there before, you'll be able to see that. And in there, I just want to quickly give you kind of an idea of what I usually talk about as the game-based learning continuum the Minecraft Education allows for you as you lead your students in learning. So as you as the education lead for your kiddo or kiddos, if you're helping in a co-op, is you can start at the beginning on the left-hand side where you're just using it like a digital manipulative, right? We start in with younger learners, just the blocks, right? The counting blocks, or having them stack blocks, like show me 3 red and 4 green. We could start there. And we can just build graphs. We can do counting blocks. We can show fractions. We can show ratios. We can just start there. We can start very, very basic. And that's as far as you have, we don't have to go farther than that. And we can use what are called blocks of grass worlds, which are wide open. There's no distractions. There's nothing there to keep you from doing anything. There's nothing else there. Then there's also these pre-created worlds that are very structured. So they have lesson plans. They have examples. They are very step-by-step. The students can't get lost. There's exactly where to go and what to do and who to talk to. And there's text that pops up that they read and they follow. The screenshot in the dead center of my slide is a World War I. It's called the World War I toy box lesson. And so it actually looks like an open toy box. And they walk through the trenches and they talk to some of the soldiers and they fill out a journal and they get to see what some of the biplanes looked like and all these different things. And then on the far right continuum, and this is not probably where you're going to be starting, but you can actually take any lesson in the Minecraft Education Library and remix it, meaning you as an educator, as the lead learner, you can actually take it, edit it, add your own text, add your own learning objectives, and then distribute that to the kids, which is kind of cool. So very quickly, example of an open blocks of grass world. You notice other than my structure here on the kind of the left center of my screenshot, it's just blank. So what we call blocks of grass world. There's no trees, there's no mountains, there's nothing for kids to get lost in. This is a great world without distractions to model things, to show open, kind of model something. This example is like translation and fractions. So here I was doing a translation, and also I use this for showing feelings. So what is something that represents you? This one I built a bridge. The second one that I love to show are build challenges. Build challenges are very, very shorter lessons that are built into the game. And when they're built into the game, the ones that are built into the game are very short. My favorite example we do in training is there's a very small world that students can't get out of, like it's very contained, and it's just a big, huge book. It's just a brown book. And they can't open it, but on the top is this huge open brown book cover. And there's a chest with bright colors of wool. And the point of that is for them to decorate the book cover based on your instructions. So you could say, decorate the book cover based on the book we just read. So we just read The Mouse and the Motorcycle. So show me you understood the main characters out of the Mouse and the Motorcycle by building them on top of the book. Or if somebody's never read The Mouse and the Motorcycle, what is one of the main themes or your favorite scene out of The Mouse and the Motorcycle? Or, right? Like pick whatever it is, and they can build that right on top of the book cover. So it's a very small world. There's nothing the student sees really, other than the book cover and a chest. And so it's open in that you tell them what you want them to do with it. So it's very simple in that way, easy to start with. And then these are the curriculum examples. So Artemis World, this is the rocket ship. So partnered with NASA a few years ago, Minecraft Education did. And these are very structured lessons that are aligned with Common Core standards. And this one's also, of course, aligned with the National Science Standards. And there's very structured world that the students walk through it step by step and are able to see what they need to do. And then this is an example of a remix world where you can go in, put your own signs, put your own characters and all of that. So you can be very creative and do a lot of things with it. This is another one. This is an ocean world where you're going in and cleaning up the ocean, helping repopulate the coral reefs and do some other really cool engagement things. So there's a lot of neat things you can do there. And I'm kind of skipping through some of this because I know there were some questions I wanted to get to. And then the other things we always recommend for starting, we talk about this in the training as well, is there's some basic tutorial worlds. And that's sometimes better for us as adults. And sometimes it's also helpful for the kids that have played the consumer version of Minecraft and they're not used to the education version. Now, again, the controls are pretty much the same. Like they're going to catch up right away. But it's good for them to kind of try it and go through the tutorial world real quickly, and they'll figure it out, and it helps them understand how to use it, what works best and whatnot. And then they can get through that. Then again, there's the town template. That was the one that had the numbered plots where they can go through. So it's great for multiplayer activities. And then a great one, that's again, another, what I call, oh my gosh, I just lost it. Build challenge, there we go. Like the book cover is there's one called a museum build challenge. And it looks like a very cool, ornate museum on the outside. But as soon as you enter, it's blank. So there's just these huge open areas that are waiting for the installations within the museum. And so then the kids can start building out the different areas of the museum. And so it's something you can use throughout a unit, throughout a whole year, right? You can continue to come back and add to it. And by the end of the year, have this whole like portfolio of learning in science and social studies, or combine it, right, with all different things. So there's a lot of cool possibilities and things you can do with a lot of that. Okay, so I'm going to pause because I know we have limited time, and I want to see what questions have popped up that I haven't answered through just the basic presentation stuff.
We do have a couple of questions. One, if you could just talk about code and challenges every year.
Did you say the coding challenges?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So on the Minecraft Education website, they highlight every November. Just quick background, in early December every year, there's a national, what they call Hour of Code. Maybe some of you have heard of that. So Minecraft Education has gotten on board with that a number of years ago. So that in November, they release every year what's called their Hour of Code World. And so there's that coding challenge world that's released every year. And it's meant to take students about an hour, right, to complete. Again, kind of what I was saying with the other lesson worlds, it's very, very structured. It helps guide students through it step by step. There's a lesson plan. For the adult, it has the solutions. So if you don't know anything about block coding or Java or Python, the students can choose which block language or which coding language they want to use. It gives you the solutions, and you can go through that. Now, I'll just add quickly, if you have a student or if you are working on coding languages, there's actually full curriculum in all three of those, block, Java, and Python. So there are full curriculum for all of those.
That's wonderful. And that goes hand in hand with the next question that just asked if there's any training that homeschool parents could do to learn to use Minecraft Education in their homeschool.
Yeah, and so that's, yeah, Michael, I think kind of answered it. I'm seeing some of the chat, I guess. We're working on that. The idea would be, to be able to hire us to come in, probably myself, or somebody on our team to come in and do some training for individuals or groups that are wanting to do that. So that's what we would do. There is a basic kind of self-paced on the Minecraft Education website. So again, that's just education.minecraft.net. So that is definitely recommended to go through and get the basic understanding for sure. And that'll help you at least get started and understand where some things are and kind of what the navigation and controls are. Definitely.
Awesome. And that's all the questions that we have at the moment.
Oh, okay. Oh, great. Okay. So I rushed through some of that just to make sure we had time. One of the things I wanted to make sure I touched on then, and okay. So I'm going to take a chance and see if I can share my screen okay. So please let me know if it comes through all right in just 1 second. So that way I can show the website. And so maybe that'll be a little bit more practical for you all to see it and understand what I'm talking about. There we go. Can you see the Minecraft screen okay?
Yes, we do.
Awesome. Okay. So this is the Minecraft Education website, and just in our, let's see, yep, we got a couple minutes here. So please stop me if any questions come up. But on the website, what I was mentioning is under how it works, you can go to get trained. And from here, it's just a very basic kind of on-demand 1 hour-ish training that you can go through. There's some webinars you can watch. They're nice and easy to just kind of go through and get some basic understanding of what there is there. So definitely want to point that out. The other thing is under Teach with Minecraft. So under Teach with Minecraft, and I'm just hovering my mouse is all I'm doing here. When I go to Teach with Minecraft, there's the computer science. So when I click on computer science, these are some of the worlds I was mentioning. When I say worlds, think lessons. So lessons that go along with the different pieces. So you can see the intro to block, how AI is with Minecraft. And when it says AI in Minecraft, Michael and I were just talking about this. What that means is it's teaching students what AI is and how it works. They're not using AI at all in Minecraft. It's just helping them understand the concepts around AI. Same with the cybersecurity worlds. It is teaching them the basics and the fundamentals of what cybersecurity is. They're not doing any cybersecurity hacking or anything like that, right? And then as you scroll down, they have some of the Hour of Code worlds right here. So if you go in there, there's some from the previous years. You can see these are each of the Hour of Code worlds from the last 6 years, 5 years, I guess. And then some of my favorites are in the Coding with Blocks section. I'll have to tell them they have a link messed up. But then let's see if I can get to it another way. AI for Earth is kind of fun. These are, I like the mapping terrain world. Let's see if that works. There we go. And I just wanted to show you one of them so you know how they were structured. So over on the right-hand side, you're usually going to see supporting materials or files. This is usually going to be your lesson plan and sometimes a presentation. I'll just be honest, there's not always a presentation. And then sometimes under external references, there might be a presentation or a video or sometimes a website that they reference as well. Otherwise, for you, the best thing is going to be under teacher notes and guiding ideas. Those are going to be some of the best things for you. And then you're going to see a link to the actual world. So this is open in Minecraft, and that'll launch Minecraft Education. So you're going to want to have Minecraft Education downloaded on a computer ahead of time, signed in, right, with your Microsoft 365 account. And then same thing, if you go to any of the subjects, you're going to want to do that. So you can explore the lesson library. I find just at the top of the website, just typing in a concept I'm going to teach is a lot of times the fastest and just easiest way to get going. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, there's not a Minecraft world for everything you teach. There's not, right? There's hundreds of worlds, not thousands. So you got to think of the different age ranges. It's an international company, right? So there's not something for everything you teach. So if I teach, let's say I'm going to teach fractions, I can type in the word fractions, and you're going to see there's 25 things that pop up. Not all of these are going to be all age ranges. The sweet spot is kind of upper elementary is what I find, lower to upper elementary, some middle school, not fractions, but some middle school for like social studies and literature sometimes. So it just depends on what you're looking for. And then again, I'll just choose one of these. When you go in, same thing. I'm going to look for those supporting files, guiding ideas, and those types of things. Any other quick questions? I know we're about to come up on the end here.
No, I think you're doing a great job of explaining. We are about 1 minute out for this cutting off, if you want to leave us with some lasting words.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll just say again on the website under the Teach with Minecraft and Challenges, that's where I was talking about the book cover. And there's a bunch of them on here you can look through. These are those really, really simple ones. They're really small worlds meant to be done very quickly and kind of open-ended for you to decide how you want to use them. Minecraft Education, again, is meant to be this open world for you to get excited about, to give students an opportunity to learn in a new and exciting way. Love to hear what you're interested in, what your curious and questions are. So please refer those through Michael, and I'll try to follow up, and we'll see about getting either some training put together or how we can support you moving forward. So thanks again for having me today, and hope this was really helpful and kind of gave you a good idea of what's possible with Minecraft. So thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Nathan. We appreciate your time.